Podcast. My name is Adonis, and you know me as the Adelites on Twitter. We've been away again for a while, so loads to talk about, including Norwich. But the title of this video and podcast is "What's Going On with Leeds United?" So we'll try and break that down for you. I've dug into some stats on fbref.com and a bit of research from the Roaring Peacock. So that's something new. Joining us to discuss all of this and much more is the Warden of the North at LUFC Warden, Sam Ward.
Evening, everybody.
And Barney from the internet at Barney LUFC 21.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So only one place to start then. Norwich. Norwich 1, Leeds United 2.
Yay.
How was that?
It was a win. It was a win. So at least that's first and foremost. It was a win, which is what we needed. We needed 3 points. We had to beat them, didn't we? They were terrible. The performance wasn't great. It's not still there, but at least we win, and at least we won. At least we got the 3 points. That's the main thing. I think against another team, if we weren't playing Norwich, I think we might be punished for some of our sloppiness, which I'm sure we'll get into. But for me, it's 3 points, and hopefully we can build on this because we need to get some sort of consistency and some sort of form. I know we're halfway up the form table, but some players are still badly out of form, aren't they? So I'm hoping off the back of this we can actually start building some momentum and work our way up, because we're not used to being down here, are we? We're not used to scraping points against bloody Norwich. We're used to battering teams like that. So sooner we get back to that, the better. But yeah, it's 3 points, and it's exactly what we needed. It's exactly what we deserved, and it's what we got in the end.
I remember after half an hour, I wrote in the WhatsApp group, I've been watching this game for 3 hours.
Yeah, it felt like it, didn't it?
Only 30 minutes has passed. Barney,
like
you
that.
felt something similar?
Yeah, it was just really hard watching. Really, really hard work to watch, which we're not used to under Bielsa and the way this team plays. It was just mistake after mistake. We just couldn't string a pass together. And we actually made Norwich look pretty okay. I mean, in the first half, they looked the most threatening team compared to us. It was worrying. Some of the play I was watching, it got really laboured, to be honest.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And then the second half was a little bit better, or at least it was very exciting for about 7 minutes.
What a great 7 minutes, though, right?
yeah.
That's 7 minutes of your life.
At least that was the sales pitch from Woody. Some people in the chat. 8-Ball Ali, hello. Echo. Nova, good evening. Good evening, Nova. Good evening, Ali. Paul Hombo says, hey up, everybody. Amit says, good evening. Which I'm guessing is a reference to a certain manager who may be coming to Newcastle. And where's our one-touch passing under the press gone, says Ali and Bandit. Where have you lot been? Well, shall I get into it then? My big research. Actually, we'll just put this up here and I'll just tell you my thoughts on the Norwich game. Basically, we scored a goal, then they scored a goal, and then we scored a goal again. That was it.
That's over.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the insight you want.
That's a Roaring Peacock insight, baby.
My magic moment was at the end when the referee blew the full-time whistle. And the away fans sang a song to Stuart Dallas, which I really enjoyed. It was a great couple of interviews that he did with the BBC Radio Leeds with Popey, and really feel for him. And I think that's the sort of thing that can turn your form around. You know, it reminds me of I know we always go back to it, that Nottingham Forest. Did we lose? I think we lost. Anyway, Luke Ayling was very sad. And then Liam Cooper had to go to hospital. And it felt a little bit like that, you know, like trauma in the personal lives, bringing the team together, and then we went on a massive run. Okay, what's happening with Leeds United? This is what's going on. So the too long didn't read, and I will go into it. But basically, we are very, very high in possession. Where we've actually got the third amount of possession in the league, behind Man City and Liverpool. So that's good. That's normal. We're protagonists. We're still dominating possession. Now, where is it? So it's in the defensive third. Second most touches in the Premier League for our defensive third, and 11th most in the attacking areas. And the difference is Man City and Liverpool are ahead of us for possession. The difference comes because their possession is in the mid third and the attacking third of the pitch. So what's happening is, if you remember against Chelsea last year, in that game where Llorente got catcalled.
God, that got really annoying by the end, didn't it? Bloody hell.
By the Cockneys.
Yeah.
They sat in this mid block, so they didn't press us high up the pitch. They just sat around the halfway line and let us basically make a mistake in midfield and give the ball to them, and then they would break quickly in the space at the back because we always push everybody up. And that's what's been happening for most of the games this season. I mean, I guess you would have seen that.
Yeah.
And then some of the other stats I dug up. We're 7th for shots. So we're still having a lot of shots, which I was surprised by. But
I'm surprised at that.
We're 18th for goals per shot. So that's the quality of the finishing. And to sort of highlight that, I looked at the players. So XG for our players, and our top player for XG, the player who's got the highest XG. Can you ever guess who it is?
Rafinha?
Close. It's still Patrick Bamford.
Is it?
Yeah.
No way.
Bloody hell.
So there he is.
So Paddy has played 5 games this season, 4.8, and he's got an XG of 3.0. Raf is second with 2.8, Rodrigo 1.8. So Rafi's slightly overperforming his XG, which you could probably have told me.
Yeah.
And everybody else slightly underperforming it. But the threat that Bamford poses for us is so important, and him not being in the team causes us massive issues going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? Melier, top of the league for saves.
I always wonder if
Fantastic
that's a
goalkeeper.
good thing, though. Is that
I
a good thing?
know, I'm torn with that one as well. It's a good thing that we've got a good keeper, but it's bad that people are getting so many shots away.
Yeah.
But depends how far the shots are away. If they're in the box, if they're outside
Yeah.
the box, it also depends on that. But we've got a good
Correct.
keeper, haven't we?
Yeah, because he's first for save, 8th for save percentage, and you alluded to it there. We're 19th for shots on target against. So this is what's happening. Teams are sitting in the middle of the park. As we inevitably try and pass them to death, they will intercept one of our short passes, or we will give the ball away. They will break very quickly and score. So that's our problem. How do we correct that? We need to score goals. That's always been the way with Bielsa, is that we live by the sword, we die by the sword, and we just haven't been scoring enough.
No.
So there you go. That's what's happening with Leeds United.
The thing with me is what we're missing out on is the wings, where last season we had the fullbacks basically become a second winger on each side. And all the little triangles, all the little interchanges on the wing, they just don't seem to be there this season. I know it's left back and right back position's been a bit disjointed. Luke Earling's out. Alioski's gone, and he was as clumsy and bad as he was at times. He knew exactly what he was doing with Jack Harrison on the left. And I know Firpo's been injured, but we just seem to be missing that wing player that was so dangerous from last season. It's so vital to how Bielsa plays. And the sooner we get that back, I think the better, because whenever, I think in Norwich, there was one time where we made a little triangle and someone flicked it back and it was a little interplay. And I was like, I'm quite surprised. And I was like, I shouldn't be surprised. That's what we did all last season. We did it so well. And I don't know what's that's down to, like I say, if it's just players out of position and players missing, but we need that back really, don't we? Because it's great to see, and teams just can't cope with it, can they, when you're running at them and one-touch passing like that?
Indeed not. Barney, you always bring some positivity to the group chat and to Twitter. Tell us it's going to be okay.
I think we're going to be okay, definitely. I think going back to Sam saying about the wingers, I think it shows how much what Bamford was doing off the ball, the amount of space he can recreate for those wingers to run into. And Rodrigo's not one of those players that can do that just yet. And I think you also need to remember the amount of injuries we have. And it's not an excuse, because the injuries we've had are actual to the spine of the team that we've got. So we've had Bamford out at times, we've had Phillips out at times, and also, again, we've not had a consistent centre-back pairing either. So once we get some injuries back, I think we will be okay. And again, no, we're not playing the Bielsa ball that we're used to. But if you look at the table after last night's result, it's absolutely mad. Where we are, and we could win a game, we could go 9th or 10th, I think it is. It's ridiculous, this league so far. And you can't take anything from those games so far this season. After the Christmas period, and we're in that position again, it probably will be squeaky bum time. But at the moment, I'm okay with stuff at the moment. And I think it will click. It will click.
Yeah.
Yep, there's the league there. So what you're talking about is the points, right? So that's this column here. And there's a lot of, if you're listening on the podcast, there's a lot of columns in this FB Ref. If you're wondering about the site, it's fbref.com. That's where I got a lot of these stats that I read out then. So, I mean, 4 points from 17th to 10th. So very, very tight.
And Brentford are only 2 points ahead of us, and they were the best team in the world a few games ago. So I know we've had a few draws in there, but we aren't far off, are we? You know what I mean? Brentford, like I say, but people were putting them to get into Europe and comparing them to us last season, and we were only 2 points behind them. And if you look back to our last 4 league games, we've won 2, drawn 1, lost 1 in our last 4. And I think just building on that, I think is doable and something we can do. But see players get back in form, really, don't we?
And are we only 4 points worse off from where we were this time last season?
Something like that,
well?
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. I think the difference being the performances, and you know, that's double-edged as well. You can also say, well, we're still getting some points. You know, we're still 4 points off 10th or whatever it is, even when we're not playing well. And you have to imagine that those performances will turn a corner at some point. Okay, some comments here. Paul, glad I tuned in for that summary. We're glad that you're here as well. Evening, lads from France. I'm going to call you Amal.
Bonjour.
Because otherwise I'm going to make a terrible attempt at your saying your name. I'm sorry. Danny Winters, the Norwich fans got very salty online since the match. Yeah, I mean, you do have to feel a little bit sorry for Norwich. That's what, you know what? We can move on to Radrizzani watch because he's done an interview today.
I like this new segment.
Yeah,
he probably will do a Rads each week, won't he? Rads will do a Rads each week, no doubt about it.
Pissed up sweet or a interview, whatever it is.
Rads watch. So let's be accurate. He said, now we're partnering with the 49ers. This is fundamentally very important. This is an interview he did today, by the way, because it will be very difficult to stay in the Premier League. But if we stay in it this year, I think we can go much more than last year and go into the top 6. He also mentioned later on in the interview that the club is worth 4 times the £100 million he spent to buy it. Okay, so if we stay up, we're into the top 6. What do you think?
Easy as that, isn't it? Easy as that. Just say it and it'll happen. Apparently.
The thing is, though, is the third season is a complete game changer for a promoted side, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the signs that we made last season, Angus Kinnear turned around and said these signings will last us for 2 seasons. So everyone's saying that it's going to be a massive rebuild for next season, but there's just some very, very good under-23s coming through. And hopefully we'll have a hell of a lot more cash injection. I mean, personally, I think we all know that Rafinha probably won't be here next season. Hopefully Phillips will stay as well because of the vision that the club will sell to him. But I do think the third season is a massive game changer for us. The other thing is, if we stay up, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would slightly question the timing of this comment. Because, between being relegated or in a dogfight at least and breaking into the top 6, there is a massive grey area and
just
a big
got
difference.
The bottom 3.
Right. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but that's a big turnaround. But what I would say is that if you do think about Norwich and you compare ourselves to Norwich, I don't think Leeds United fans, and I don't think the concept of Leeds United, as it has been in our history, would accept being a yo-yo club like Norwich.
No, definitely not.
We need to be ambitious. We need to. That fuels us. That drives us, and that kind of talk might keep the likes of Phillips or Rafinha here another season. So.
Yeah,
because you can imagine him saying, "Just give us another." I know that you want Champions League football, Rafi or Calvin, but give us another season and let's see if we can do it here.
Yeah. I think to have an owner that is ambitious like that is a huge thing. We've seen so many clubs, like you just said there, Donny, Norwich and Newcastle before they've had this takeover. So many clubs and decent sized clubs just don't have the ambition. And to hear him say that, you say like the timing isn't great, but just to have an owner with ambition is brilliant. And it's something we haven't had for so long. So he's obviously got the financial backing on board, you'd hope now, to really push for that. And it's exciting. Look, it's exciting. And, maybe he says the wrong thing at the wrong time, but at least he's ambitious and at least he's got the club at heart, and he's got, he wants us to be successful. And like you said, to sell that to players, to keep players here, you've got to have that ambition. Otherwise, you're just a selling club. And I know that's kind of part of the plan, but we want to keep our best players. And to do that, you've got to show some ambition. And fair play to him. It's exciting, really, isn't it? As long as we stay up this season.
It is, yeah. Getting around to your chat then. Emmett says, the negativity on Sunday in the watch along with Joe was terrible. We're going to be okay. Show some fucking support for these boys. Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for Joe just because, I mean, if you've seen our the highlights of when we've been watching the game, I get very passionate and can be negative in moments as well.
Yeah,
I think everybody can,
definitely. I'm screaming at the telly.
Right, for fuck's sake, Roberts! It was a 3-yard pass, stuff, things like that. That was just an example.
Come on, Forshaw!
Right.
His new false 9 position.
Bandy, what do you think about Bielsa's reaction at the end of the game?
Bielsa's reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like he's as much, if not more, invested as anybody emotionally, and it reminded me of the scenes in QPR after we lost, and he was just on his haunches in that that hallway. It felt I felt exactly the same. I was exhausted.
Exactly.
It had been 3 years since the kickoff of that game. Even though it was only 90 minutes. And, of course, there was an assassination attempt halfway through.
That was funny, that. I mean, Argentina and Brazil, they've got a bit of a rivalry, haven't they? But it was good to see Bielsa just get straight back up. But you feel a bit like, oh, fucking hell, don't do that, Rafi. Like, he's getting on a bit now, but guys,
he was on fire, Rafi. He was chucking his boots into the crowd.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah, he proper launched him in. Did you see that?
Yeah,
he proper launched him into the crowd. Have that.
The thing, you can just imagine the lads in the dressing room after the game, like, try not laugh.
Yeah.
Like cheering him in. Hey, here he is.
He's so serious, Rafi, though. Even pulling him up, pulling his manager up, he was just like, right, let's pull him up and let's get straight back on with it. It's like other people be like, oh, fucking hell, sorry. No, he's straight back up, wasn't
he? Indeed. Emmett says, people need to stop going on about that we miss Alioski. Let's be real, he was a liability on the back foot. Novet, Brentford, the most amazing team to ever grace the Premier League, are only 2 points ahead. I think it'll be fine. PSF, we have championship players being carried by the rest. Gordon says, good evening, fellas. Good evening, Gordon.
Hi, mate.
Paul, personally, I feel really positive about the rest of the season. We would be top 10 if refs had done their job against Burnley and Newcastle. Yeah, I mean, we don't even talk about it anymore. It's just a way of life.
No, it just happens, isn't it? It really is just what happens. Anti-Leeds bastards.
Did you see footage of some fans going onto a pitch? I think it was somewhere maybe in South America. Brazil,
yeah. Smashing the VAR.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, the Leeds one's right in between the away fans and the home fans, isn't it? That could get tasty there. But yeah, that's funny. That's what they deserve sometimes.
I mean, I think there's quite good policing now. There's quite a good atmosphere, like a more family-friendly atmosphere in grounds in the UK.
Yeah.
If you look at some of those places in South America, I guess there's no real consequences for running onto the pitch.
Especially like Russia and Poland, it's just mad over there still, isn't it? It's like from the 80s still, early 90s. So
yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. I mean, there's no like lifelong bans or anything.
No.
Very rare that would be. Bandy, our confidence is low. Slipping into the bottom three made it worse for our players. Although we were better than Norwich, we were lucky to win. Pierce, I tend to agree with that. I think
it's a fair assessment, yeah.
Yeah. Neither team looked like they were going to win, and the fans lost. Well, we got 3 points, so that was the main thing. PSF Bielsa doesn't know how to blend the great young players into the first team. So that's a big comment there.
Yeah, I think you do have to be careful with them, don't you? You can't rush them in. It's the Premier League especially now, and when we are down there, down the bottom, you can't just throw people on and have all that pressure on them. You've got to bring them in slowly. And the reason that he is so renowned for doing that is because Bielsa knows when to do it and how many minutes to give someone and the right times to do it. And I believe he's doing brilliant with it. And, I know it's tempting to want to play the kids and, and start afresh, really. But you've just got to trust him and trust in what he does because he's done it for so long now, hasn't he? So many players he's brought through.
And also, I think it's a case of Bielsa said it's not just about giving an appearance to a player. It's about making sure they're 100% up to speed, ready, and they're on straight away.
Yeah.
I think PSF is probably talking about Joffrey to a certain extent. And I thought he should have started on against Norwich on Sunday. But I think he's such a special talent. You don't want to make him burn out too quickly. And everything's on him.
All right, Karen Cardi. If only there was a lockdown, Joffrey would be getting the golden boot.
I think there needs to be that mixture of. We need to have a mixture of some of the pros in the team and also some of the youngsters coming through. And we've seen the youngsters coming through now where we wouldn't have thought we would have seen them last season. So I think the under-23s have stepped up to a level where they're ready now, not where they were from last season as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've had Melier, of course. You've had Strauch. This season, I think Shackleton's he's done okay. He's not done. he's not done bad. We've also seen minutes for Crescencio Somerville, you know, as well as Joffrey. And of course, when you play like that against Wolves, you know, for the last 20 minutes of a game, you know, you get more touches in the penalty area than any other Premier League player at that time during the weekend. Then, of course, it's going to bring this massive wave of optimism. Of course it is. But yeah, you know, he's also brought in the young Adam Forshaw, who's I thought he did okay yesterday.
He did. He was neat, wasn't he? Neat and tidy.
I've got a real obsession with him at the moment. And
yeah, you do, don't you?
I
like it. He's a good guy.
He's a midfielder that we've missed, and the midfielder we should have bought in the summer. He's a midfielder that does everything really simple but neat and tidy. And sometimes he's a midfielder who'll just like say, "Let's calm down. Let's just pass the ball around a bit, and then we go again." But sometimes we're just too front foot, and I think that's one of the issues with Click, where he's too attack-minded than defensive-minded. And Forshaw, I mean, some of the runs he were doing, that pass from Rafinha, if he had managed to get onto the ball, that would have been a right goal.
Yeah,
but I think seeing him coming on, doing those quick bursts of running and just doing the tidy little bits, and now actually getting onto the pitch when it's in the Premier League as well, I think that's another good thing, and hopefully he won't break again.
No, hopefully not.
Yep. So that's a nice little segue then. Let's talk about midfielders and January. So I am of the opinion that you should avoid making transfers in January in general. I don't think it's the market to go in. And I think that that's widely accepted because you have to pay over the odds. And it's just very difficult for a club to lose a player, for example. Like, say, if, you know, the money started burning a hole in Newcastle's pockets and they wanted to buy Phillips. If we lost Phillips halfway through a season, I think that'd almost be suicidal. Do you know what I mean? So it's very difficult for a team to part ways with a good player. But we obviously need a midfielder. I think they tried to get Conor Gallagher, and I think that, I mean, that would have been a fantastic transfer.
It would have been class. He's been class for a few years. Was he on loan at Blackburn when we were in the Championship? Was it Blackburn? I think it might have been. Or Swansea, one of them. And he looked class then, and he's just stepped up a level every time. And yeah, he would have been brilliant, wouldn't he, under Bielsa? It's a real shame that.
So the question is, who? I'll just get this one out of the way very quickly because it's an obvious one. Could we recall Bogus? Because he's been doing very well. Albeit Serie B, I think it is, or La Liga B.
Yeah, Liga 2, I think. Yeah,
Liga 2. Or unless his career is over at Leeds, and that's why, or basically over at Leeds, and that's why he went on loan in the first place. Other than that, I've got some suggestions, but I can get suggestions from you guys.
To be honest, mate, I'm not too sure. I don't know names of people that are available, but we need someone who, basically Rodrigo de Paul, isn't it? Someone of that ilk, someone of that sort of capability that can literally play anywhere in midfield and do a bloody good job at it. Someone like that, I think, it's just too expensive, isn't it? And like you say with Bogus, it'd be great to see him thrive at Leeds, but I just don't think it'd be the answer. But I don't know. You guys might have names in your head that you know, but I'm out of ideas for names. Like
Rodrigo de Paul, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
No, I can't. Have you seen him?
Unrequited love is unhealthy for you, my friend.
And someone like that, though, someone like that. It's hard to find players like that, and in January even harder. But yeah, Conor Gallagher would have been good. I know that.
Yep, Barnett.
The thing is, though, like you said, January is a tough market, and who are you going to get in January? And is it just a stopgap, or is it going to be a player that's going to be in the team for the future as well? And I I can't see a player that is going to be available in January to do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we didn't get that lad from Huddersfield in the end, because
Brian,
it was just going to be for this season. But we want to be better than getting Championship players in for a season. We want better players next season. So, and with Conor Gallagher, he's been fantastic for Palace, but it wasn't the reason wasn't because we were skin. It's because he wanted to stay in London. That's why.
Yeah.
So it's
south of the north.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically agreed to go there the season before, but then it had fallen through. Well, let's say we take Andrea on his word today, that he wants to break into the top 6, and that he's talking about investment from the 49ers, who own 37% of the club. So he was really focused on that. He was also focused on renovating the stadium and continue to grow the value of the club. So let's take him on his word and trust that he would make a bigger investment than normal. So I would say these players are potentially available. A Ramsey from Juventus, he's not playing. Ali as well, he was out of favour at Spurs. Players that are also not playing: Van der Beek and Lingard at Scum.
Yeah.
Barkley at Chelsea, I think, would probably be my preference. There's Brozovic at Inter Milan. Inter Milan need money. He's a fantastic player. Callum McGregor, maybe a more doable transfer at Celtic. Now he runs their midfield. There's Ibrahim Sangare, who, if you watch Tifo football, is a favourite of them, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, who doesn't play that much at Liverpool, but again, that would be quite costly.
I've thought of one.
Go on, Barney.
The lad from Spurs who played really well under Poch, and he's
Winks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've said this on Twitter before, and people, he's not good enough, but he absolutely thrived under Poch, and he was given the captaincy for a couple of games as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And with Conte.
This is kind of cheese, isn't it?
We'll edit that out. It's fine.
Right. The days
with him coming in now, maybe we'd be able to get him in. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the thing is with a lot of these Prem ones, you've got to remember that teams are they going to be willing to let players go. I mean, I like the sound of Ramsey, to be fair, because he's still class, but does he not play at Juventus anymore?
He's been a little bit out of favour there. The trouble with him is he's on £300,000 a week.
No, that's enough, then, isn't it?
Blimey.
Cross that one off that list. There's that as well, isn't there? Really, if you're getting them from big teams, they'll be on big contracts. But I like the sound of a lot of them. What you say there, but the bottom line is you should have done this in summer. Really, then we'd have a lot more choice and a lot more time to bed them in. Like you said, January is just it's a bad time, isn't it?
The reason why I picked some of those names out, and especially because they are a bit more ambitious. They're in a slightly higher bracket than we would probably feel comfortable with financially. And the reason you do that is to sign, one marquee player who lifts the whole squad up, who maybe makes people like Rafinha, people like Calvin Phillips stop and think, you know what? They are ambitious. If they're going to bring a player like this in every now and then, that's going to lift the whole squad, then, maybe we could break into the top 6, which, again, I just think the timing is probably not that great, but probably people are laughing at Rads right now for saying something like that in this moment when we're clearly not performing well. But if you have the kind of ambition to make this kind of investment, then it would change things. Okay, a few of your comments. Gordon White, I believe KP is not quite the same this season. not only in performance but also in enthusiasm. Do you think his contract talks could be affecting him?
I think he played well up until he got injured, didn't he? And he's been out for a month or so, would you say? Yeah, it was a month and a bit. Yeah, he was a bit rusty, but I don't know. I don't think he's a sort of lad that's going to get his head turned and worry about that sort of thing. I think he's a good professional and has Leeds at his heart, doesn't he? So I think he'd always perform. But yeah, he was a bit rusty on Saturday, wasn't he? Sunday, sorry.
There were rumours that he's changed agent, Barney?
Yeah, I heard that.
I heard about that. Apparently he's not with... Apparently we were talking about it on the chat, weren't we? Saying apparently he's not with, might not be with Kevin Sharp anymore. So maybe that's another thing as well. He's not the same Phillips as last year, but I think it's the fact that we've got no midfield. So he's trying to do everything, and he's getting in more advanced roles because he has to, because there's no one there to pull him either. So it's I think obviously the contract talks will be ongoing. It probably is a bit of a distraction as well. But also, I might be wrong here. I probably am wrong because I usually am wrong before anyone calls me out. Is that with any of the England players that played in the final, how have they performed this season as well? Because if you look at Maguire, he just looks out of his depth. He looks out of his depth. There's other players from the England squad that don't look up to performance as well.
Rice is doing all right.
Rice is doing well.
All right.
No, Sterling's not been doing well, has he? Kane's not been doing well. Shaw's apparently been shit. Maguire, I see what you mean. Yeah,
I agree. Rice has been the exception, definitely.
Yeah.
And if you look at someone like Kane or Maguire, they're definitely the examples that you're alluding to. Okay, a few more comments. We've got loads of comments tonight. We've been away for so long. Everybody wants to talk to us. That's really lovely. Thank you. 8-Ball Ali, it's so good to have you daft sods back. It's great to be back. Amit, Rad said today we will aim for top 6 next season. Relegation it is then. Feminist Ghosts. Evening, ladies and gents. Good evening, Ghost. Bandy. Norwich set up very well. 5 in the middle, 2 up top. Under the mental pressure, we did well. They set up to not concede. They didn't look particularly threatening. But yeah, it was difficult. Nobody did. Rafi did. No. He looked threatening to small children in the crowd and old men crouching by the side of the pitch. Only Melier has got into the first team in years, said PSF. He's talking about the youth again. Nova, I'm glad that they managed to find all of the parts that he had donated last season. He looked good. He's talking about Forshaw, I'm guessing. Gordon White said, on some of the podcasts, it has been mentioned, are some players struggling with the fans being back in the stadium? Last season was quite often, it must have felt like a training game quite often last season. I think there's a certain truth in that. Would you say?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, the times like the Wolves game, we literally lifted the team and basically got them a goal, didn't we? So it does work both ways. But I can imagine it was a lot. Maybe a bit less pressure, maybe a bit easier to play, wasn't it? But I think it works in both ways, doesn't it? The crowd.
Right. And am I right? There's no. Okay. There's a. We play Leicester on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then there's no home fixture until the 30th of November. It's a bit of a weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Some of these fixtures. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
When we're talking about what's happened at Leeds, international breaks are killing us.
Yeah,
because with Bielsa, it's all about the training methods, and when he doesn't have half the squad with him because they're on international duty, he's even said in his press conference a while ago, I only get to see them on Friday, then we're into a game on Saturday or Sunday. And I do believe that these international breaks are killing the way we want to play. And also, the amount of injuries that clubs have got this season as well is phenomenal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'd agree. Yeah, I mean it's a hangover from when we bought all those cheaper European players like Click, for example, and Dallas. Well, Dallas is European, but he's not English. Well, he's Leeds born, according to some.
yeah,
But it's not just that. It's all of the academy now. We've got so many players out to under 20s. It's so odd to me that that England has separate teams for under 20s and under 21 and it's just a bizarre situation. But it is what it is, and it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
yeah. Sometimes it can give you time to get players back from injury as well, can't it? But
yeah. Hasn't done Forshaw that much good over the years, though.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm very bad. Derek Moore, evening, fellas. Good evening, Derek. PSF. Forshaw is not the answer. Jeez, he's on the offensive as PSF tonight. We have to play Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. Come on, get real.
Yeah, Barney.
All right. I've suggested a whole list of ambitious transfers here.
He's got notes and everything.
I did research and everything. Paul says, not getting Gallagher is one more reason to hate Chelsea, as if we didn't need enough. Gordon White says that Johnny Giles would be a good fit. Nova, maybe get Chelsea to recall Gilmore and get him in. Bandy says, Lewis Bate is our Conor Gallagher. Brian L says, Norwich player Cantwell is available.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, to be honest.
He's another Conor Gallagher. He's another one of the Backstreet Boys. He's got a lush blonde hair. He looks like he's going to go surfing at any moment.
Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah,
crafty. He's got some good skills. He's more of an attacking midfielder. Could be a good shout, in that sort of 10 position that we've missed. Hasn't really worked out with anybody else.
We did look at him though last season, didn't we?
Did, yeah.
There was rumours that we were looking at him, but we didn't really do anything about it.
Is that a Danny Mills rumour or is that real? We don't know.
I don't know.
Could be from anyone.
This is a tier, isn't it? This is a level of believability. The Danny Mills is down here, and Phil Hay.
Phil Hay, yeah.
Liam G. Pity Milner is still getting games for Liverpool. Could have went for him in January. Leeds could do with the James Milner. Well, we all wanted him to come back.
I think that's gone now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah.
When he signed his new contract, and the dream was over. Geez, PSF, you're on the offensive. I'm serious. I got that turn, mate. I think you lot have been institutionalized by 16 years of championship football. We should not buy any players in the window. It would be a waste of money. Okay. Sid.
Get Bianchi back. Nice, yeah. I mean, that quality in midfield.
Isn't Berardi still a free agent?
I think he is. Yeah. I'd have him back in a heartbeat just for his cheerleading alone.
Midfield enforcer.
Yeah.
We've seen Bielsa create a left back out of a right winger.
Yeah.
And many other interesting feats. I'm sure Berardi could be turned into a midfield, a box-to-box midfielder or something.
Yeah. Charging into people.
Right. Amit, that reminds me. One of the stats that came out, we're second for fouls committed.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Poorly timed. My notes are due to frustration. Poorly timed stupid tackles, just showing maybe a little lack of experience, especially, off the top of my head, Tyler Roberts, for example. I feel like he's quite guilty of barging into players at times. But I just also want to say it also shows the high commitment to tackling that we have. Yeah. We're top of the league for percentage of dribblers tackled. We're top of the league for pressures. I think we're third for total tackles. So we do attempt many more, and obviously you're going to give away more fouls.
That's it. Yeah, I can imagine the game against Norwich added a lot of that. It was very, very championshipy with the fouls, wasn't it? And just, I think, to be fair, I don't think the ref had the best game, but he was just giving everything. But there was a lot of fouls committed there, wasn't there? The whistle just kept going every 2 minutes. I bet the stats flew up after that game.
They were like watching rugby league.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Every fifth tackle, kick it out.
Yeah. Roll it back. Yeah, it was like that, wasn't it?
I won't be able to get through all of your messages here. So just a few more. Michael Brown, Victor Orta knows the Spanish market well, with getting Llorente and Rodrigo, and Leeds United have had great ball playing midfielders in Pablo and Samuel Saiz. Remember him? It's a beautiful hat trick that was. It was so much promise.
He was such a lovely player as well. He was a joy to watch. Saiz, just brilliant.
When he wasn't spitting on people. Orta should go and raid the Spanish market again. Bremner's Ghost, club before country, side before self. Simple, sweet, and straight to the point. Love it. Michael Brown, it's second season syndrome for Leeds. Teams have cottoned on to the style of play. It's a team of them. And competing against Leeds much better. Luckily, we've only got 1-11 in the chat. New players are needed to give the team a boost and make the team up its game. Yep, I'd agree, and the stats would back you up there, Michael. Amit, do we need to question Victor Orta? Here's one for you, fellas. Spent a lot of money on players that haven't worked out. Lost £18 million on Big Kev. Was part of Middlesbrough management that got relegated.
No, I mean you've got to see who he's brought in as well. I think with the approach that he went for in Borough and here, he goes for here. He went through a lot of players to find a few gems, but the gems he has found, I think, he's more than in credit. But yeah, like I don't know. I think he's been brilliant, and without him, we probably wouldn't have Bielsa. So he's more than got it in credit, hasn't he? For me, anyway. How about you two?
Yep, I'd agree with that, Barnett.
Yeah, for me, there's two things. The first season, for some reason we keep going back to the first season with his recruitment. He had nothing to work with whatsoever. We didn't have any sort of recruitment process at the club anyway. And to be honest, Rads did try to do it on the cheap in the first season, and he's even admitted that. Some players sometimes just do not work out, but also a director of football is not just about recruitment. Look at the infrastructure he's put in at the club, from the Thorpe Arch, getting that to Premier League standards. Look at the under-23s, that we are actually one of the best under-23s for recruitment in the country now. Before, a lot of the under-23s were going to Man City because there was nowhere local, but now we're at. That was one of the reasons why we got so many foreign under-23s in, because a lot of them were just going to Man City. So we've got a thriving under-23 setup as well. And I think it's a very blinkered way of looking, thinking that's all they've done is recruitment. He's got recruitment wrong. It's not just about recruitment. A director of football. Man United is a prime example. They've only just started getting a director of football in, but they don't have any sort of recruitment or identity of what they want to play. It's all about spending a load of money and get some players in, and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I think you can aim criticism at certain signings, and I think that's completely fair enough.
It happens.
But it does happen. There's a lot that you can't control about signings.
Yeah,
you can have a player that's in great form in one country, and just for whatever reason, it doesn't happen when he moves there. Whether that's the isolation from friends or family, or the language barrier, or whatever it is, you know what I mean. So there is a certain uncontrollability. What Victor Orta can control is how hard he works and how much passion he has. for the club, and I just think on those aspects that he can control, you really can't fault him.
No, probably has some good connections as well, doesn't he?
Right, and yeah, I mean, you just have to look at the under-23s. I mean, what an improvement we've seen, and overall, from where it was under Cellino to where it is now, you have to say that their hard work that they've put in, all of the management team, including Rads and including Orta, it's obviously we're in a lot better position than we are now. Okay, Bandit, it was very interesting watching Leicester. I was surprised to see how similar their game is to our normal game, except they will use 2 centre forwards. Even Schmeichel only plays it short. Yeah. There is talk of Leeds renewing their interest in John Swift at Reading, says Michael Brown. He also clarifies he's not the Michael Brown.
No. Brown, he's going to get you. Remember that one. Do you remember Michael Brown's last game for Leeds when he was potentially going to get another contract and he was just charging? I think he knew it was his last game, but he was just charging round, wasn't he? Fouling people. It was like a man possessed. It was brilliant to see. Everyone was going mad in the ground for him. He was literally just flying into people, closing down people. It was like, bloody hell, he's playing for a contract. What a guy.
I feel like Berardi's last game could have gone that way.
Yeah, I wish it did. I kind of wish it did start and end with a karate kick. I think that'd be great, wouldn't it?
on Sam Allardyce.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like if you wanted to analyze Orta's signings, a lot of people are talking about Orta now. You know, I think on the whole, it's been very unlucky. If you think about the injuries to Cox pubis and Llorente, then it's been difficult. I think Cox was meant to be like backup midfielder, wasn't he? I mean, he was playing in the national team's midfield at the time, you know, spraying in lovely balls to Havertz or whoever they had up front at that time.
Yeah.
So I think we've been quite unlucky in that regard, and I just love people who have got a lot of passion for the club.
Definitely.
All right, last few comments then, and then we'll wrap it up. Is there anything else that we've been away for so long? Is there anything that you guys wanted to talk about? Scum lost 5-0. That was good.
Don't mention flying to Norwich. Just don't mention that on social media.
If you're not aware, Barney made a comment. What do you call it? A climate change protest or something. It was mild protest.
Yeah, apparently I need to stick my face, super glue my face onto
Insulate Barney. That's what I said. Insulate Barney.
Eden Airport now.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. I think you made a small comment on Twitter that got a bit of reaction. So
it's not like Barney.
I know, what can I say?
A lot has happened, hasn't it? Yeah, Scum losing, that was great. More of that, please. And I'm quite happy. Do you know what? I'm quite happy that they won the week after, just to keep Solskjaer there, just to that another week.
He played it so well as well, beating Spurs. So they sack Nuno.
Yeah.
And sign Conte, and now now Solskjaer's job is safe because it's very clever, very clever. Of course, Emery's going to go to Newcastle, so Scum have got nobody left now.
No, Zidane maybe, but I don't know.
Right.
With the team that he had at Real, I think anyone could have managed them to do well.
Surely they'd get Cantona, Scum. That'd be more up there. In line, they're going for their past legends. When it wouldn't make us very happy, but
get Ryan Giggs in, Scholes in the toe sucker.
Right, yeah.
That's something else to talk about as well, isn't it?
They'll have to talk to his parole officer first, won't they?
Yeah, Giggs.
Yeah.
But there's that Scholes thing as well, man. I could not believe that. What is that about? Yes, sucking his daughter's toes off. Was he biting the nails? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's mental. Like, what's his daughter thinking? Even putting it on as well. It's like it's a chain reaction of weirdness, isn't it? For him to be doing it, for it to be his daughter, and then for a daughter to be filming it. It's like, what the fuck's going on? It says a lot about the class of '92. A lot of them are, naughty. But no, dodgy. That, isn't it? Says a lot about Manx. That
Naughty, dodgy.
dodgy, naughty. Oh dear, yeah,
it was just so weird. It was one of those moments where you're like, we're definitely living in a simulation. And the programmers are fucking having a field day here. Like, it's not making sense.
Yeah,
reality's broken.
Fucking it, Pete, as well.
That was it. Oh, Newcastle gonna buy the league. What else?
They're still only got a few points, haven't they? They've got 4 points, Newcastle, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do.
We got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. Thank God. Fucking
Mickey
Mouse competition. Wouldn't want to win it anyway.
Didn't want it anyway, we on about. If we got to the quarters, I would have been like, fuck off, I don't want to play anymore. Get us out of this shit competition.
Who drinks Carabao anyway?
Yeah, I know. I literally don't even see that in shops, I've never seen that in a shop before. I saw it in Thailand, but just in Thailand. Like, not over here. Weird.
Do you remember last season when they were doing the cup draws in Morrison's?
It's mental, isn't it?
Lads, I've got a right good idea. We won't do a cup. We'll do a cup draw in a supermarket. What do you think?
Yeah. We'll draft in Rudy Giuliani with that weird shit leaking down his face.
Need to get a pissed up Rod Stewart again. I watched that video again for the 10th time. I absolutely love that video. In pissed up and doing the Scottish Cup draw. Fucking brilliant. If anyone's not seen that, get on that. It's absolutely brilliant. So good.
Okay, last few comments. Michael, welcome back, guys. Where have you been? Working, busy.
Yeah,
We've got lives
busy.
now. We started this in lockdown. We thought, fuck it, might as well. Not got anything better to do.
28 pods a week.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
And now life's crept back in.
Yeah, I was on furlough, so I had literally nothing better to do. And yeah, now everything's opened up again. We all just got back to our normal lives and decided to see our families. Michael Brown, any potential new signings have to be rubber stamped by Bielsa, even if Orta wants to bring them to the club.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Paul, great to see you back. Bandy, don't leave it so long. Paul, I thought it was only me who still called it Yeadon Airport.
Well, I lived in Otley for a lot of my life, so we always used to call it Yeadon Airport because it is in Yeadon. It's nowhere near Leeds or Bradford.
Oh, is that Leeds Bradford? I never knew it was called that.
Yeah.
I knew it was called that.
My dad was the fifth generation Otley in a row.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
There you go. I broke.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I broke the chain and left. Roads are too small.
Yeah.
You can't even get a bike down them anymore. It's just cars everywhere.
Yeah.
No parking. They need to build like a 30-story car park in the center of Otley. And yeah, live near the airport. You don't need to know that. It's not the Where Did an Honest Store Live podcast. Words and pictures. Glad you're back. Bandy, Allardyce for scum. There you go.
Yes.
Allardyce, get him in there. Get him in. And a pissed up Cantona as his assistant manager talking about fucking, just spewing out the most wild, drunken poetry at every single press conference. Yeah. The monkeys climb into the basement to suck, Paul Scholes' toes. Mic drop.
Why have they got visions of monkeys and Paul Scholes now? It's not a nice vision.
No, so I'm sorry about it. It's that I don't know.
He wouldn't have to go on my toes. I tell you what, they're in work boots 9 hours a day. He would not want to go on these bad boys.
Oh God. I had a nightmare actually last night. Speaking of scum, that we'd sold Calvin Phillips to scum for 80 million.
Oof.
It's horrible.
Oh God! You went up in hot sweats, screaming. Poor Nora had to sort you out.
So that was your belated Halloween story, Michael Brown. Bielsa has always preferred a small squad. These injuries may force us to booster it. Liam G, TikTok, the downfall of humanity. Just no context to that. No,
I was going to say, is anyone else on about TikTok? Sorry.
To be fair, though, TikTok is fantastic for Francis, the train boy, the train lad.
Right,
and he is great content. Absolutely, if you're feeling down, just watch one of his videos. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I love him.
Yep, wholeheartedly agree there. We need to do something similar. How do we
just wait outside the back of Ellen Road and attach a camera to our heads and scream after players? Maybe.
Well, it was rumored that I used to go to games with a GoPro on my head. Don't know where that rumor came from either. I wouldn't even know how to use one.
That's such a good rumor. That
it's beautiful.
Your dad wears a GoPro on his head.
You attract so much of it. It's so weird, Barney. I don't know why that you're like it's like moth to the flames. Bremner, I thought it was the red-headed Princess Fergie into toe sucking in the 90s. There we go. Bandit, a steady on. That's the European football. Michael Brown, any ex-Leeds United players you would love to see back at the club? Oh, we talked about Milner, didn't we? We talked about Johnny Giles coming back.
Oliver Decor.
Right.
Oh God, yeah, that'd be perfect for us right now, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Oh,
that's. I was saying something like that the other day, wasn't I? In the chat, I was like, God, we just need somebody like Gordon Strachan or Decor.
Bianchi, like I said earlier. Really pull those strings.
Right, Michael Brown.
Yeah, team of them if we could.
Yeah.
We need a leader in defence with Belushi.
Right.
Oh, what is he doing now? Belland. He is, isn't he? Like that,
he was. Yeah.
That goal he scored against Bournemouth away, that free kick, fucking brilliant. But then it was just awful, wasn't he? Such a twat as well. Remember when he pulled up that statistic? He had a little spreadsheet of his performances. Like, who does shit like that, really? Weirdos.
Okay. Just about it then. Final thoughts? You got anything you want to sell?
Not really, man. No, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. Another Sunday kickoff. I quite enjoyed it on Sunday, to be honest.
Yeah, Leicester. Go on then. Prediction?
Desmond 2-2. I'm going to say. I think it'll be a good game. I think we're going to build off this, but they are good, Leicester, and as long as we keep a lid on Vardy, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
That's a Vardy hat-trick incoming then.
Yeah.
Well, they've just lost to Arsenal 2-0.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? They're playing in Europe as well, so they might be a bit knackered. Let's hope.
Yep. Spartak Moscow, but they're playing at home.
Oh, I was going to say that'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
Thursday at 9 p.m.
Oh, yeah, so they'll only have a few days rest, won't they?
Yeah, they'll be on the sleeping pills when they get back home.
Yeah.
It's a big problem, that, in football, apparently. I was reading the other day. Yeah.
I can imagine, to be honest, like, even when I play five-a-side or when I play outside outdoor.
When you play five-a-side.
You come back after a late one, and it takes a while for you to switch off. It's just like that, I think, playing Premier League football.
It's like a football cliche thing, that.
Yeah. I know exactly what those Premier League football are. I feel it every five-a-side.
Yeah.
It's like when I get cramp in bed on a night if I've drunk too much. I'm like, when they're on the floor, I know how you feel. When you get cramp in bed, you're like, like that. Yeah, I can feel his pain there.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, he's pulled his hamstring, has he? Yeah, I pulled my back the other day.
Putting my shoes on. Ooh.
final few comments. Bandy, well done, boys. Thank you, Bandy. Leave Eric alone, he says. Eric? Eric Backer?
Yeah.
Don't know. Beyond the 90 LCFC, that's Neil. Adonis, we need to do a preview soon. Bring back the previews, maybe. Yeah, why not?
They were good then.
I'll at least come on your channel. I know what it is like to be Lewis Hamilton. I drive a Vauxhall Corsa to work.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
You see, you could do it in a Corsa, you could do it in an F1 car, I'll tell you that.
Oh, you cheeky sod.
You're the one coming on their podcast. You watch where you're coming, mate.
Michael Brown, excellent as always, guys. I hope you guys will be more regular from now on. We'll try.
Yeah.
Oh, Bandy's got round to Eric Cantona. There you go. Gordon White says, thanks, fellas. Really enjoyed the podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, enjoy your week. Best of luck in all your endeavors, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. There you go. There you go. And,
inspirational words, Donny. I love it.
Thank you. Anything else? Motivation, weekly motivation. We should get some of these. They're on Instagram and they say, it's like fortune cookies. Your life is half full, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It's always darkest before the dawn.
And if there is a light, just walk towards it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. There's only a rainbow when it starts to rain, and players only love you when they're playing.
Oh, one last thing, by the way. Today, I very sadly lost a chisel that I've had since I was an apprentice. It's a 9-year-old chisel snapped on me today.
Oh.
It was an emotional thing. I had a little send off for it, lowered it into the skip. That was a sad day. So RIP the chisel. Gone too soon.
I was waiting for the punchline. Was it?
No punchline. It's just a genuine chisel that I've had since I was an apprentice 9 years ago now. So emotional. So just a little
keeping it?
note to no, it got lowered into the skip. Said a few words, and that was it.
Okay.
So just one for you to think about, guys. Just look after your chisels.
Okay, it's gone to the great tool shed in the sky.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay.
Right.
See you then.
Take care, boys.
Cheers. Bye.
Ta-da.